The final countdown. The countdown started at 0 and honestly, no one saw it coming. Not even a little. 1 minute, the world was buzzing with the usual chaos. Phones ringing, TVs blaring the same old nonsense, computers whirring away, and then, all at once, everything froze. Every screen, every device, suddenly displayed the same. Numbers, 24, 24 hours left. But left for what? Nobody had the faintest clue. Confusion took hold first. People stared at their phones, tapped their tablets, even shot nervous glances at their smartwatches. They thought it was just a glitch, a weird system error or some hack that would be fixed soon. But no matter how many times they rebooted or tried turning off their devices, the numbers kept counting down. It made no sense. Panic was next. Cities erupted into chaos. Cars stalled in the streets, drivers abandoning their vehicles and sprinting like their lives depended on it. Stores were ransacked, people grabbing whatever they could, water bottles, canned goods, batteries, acting as if the world were about to end. And maybe it was. Governments tried to calm the masses, claiming it was just a technical issue. But let's be real, no one believed that for a second. Something huge was happening and no one knew what the hell it was. In a quiet facility, far removed from the pandemonium, a group of scientists stood together, eyes wide, breaths short. Dr. Sarah Maddox was at the front, unnervingly calm, but her eyes told a different story. They were filled with fear. "We've detected a signal," she said, her voice shaky. "It's coming from deep space, far beyond our galaxy." The room fell into an eerie silence, the kind that makes your skin crawl. Kevin, the youngest scientist, finally found his voice, though he struggled to keep it steady. So, what does that mean? An alien message or something? Or is this just some weird natural phenomenon? Sarah pressed her lips together tightly. "We don't know, but we've traced the signal to the countdown. This isn't a random glitch. It's intentional." A cold weight dropped in Kevin's stomach. "Wait, are you saying this is a threat?" Sarah nodded, her face pale as a ghost, the words heavy as lead. "Maybe, but we don't have time to figure it out by sitting around. We need to get to the source before time runs out." She glanced at the clock on the wall. 22 hours left. They scrambled, moving as quickly as their trembling hands would allow, preparing the spacecraft for launch. Sarah, Kevin, and 3 others suited up. Their mission was clear but terrifying. Trace the signal, uncover its meaning, and hopefully stop whatever was coming before it was too late. Inside the ship, Kevin couldn't shake the gnawing sense of dread. He gazed out the window, watching Earth shrink into the cold void as they hurtled deeper into space. "Sarah," he called softly, "do you think we'll, figure this out in time?" She glanced over at him from across the dim cabin, her face bathed in the pale blue glow of the control panel. "We have to," she replied, but her voice wavered, as if she was trying to convince herself more than him. The ship sliced through the darkness, heading straight for the signal's origin. A barren, scarred planet came into view. Its surface was dotted with craters, strange mechanical structures half buried in dust and ash, like relics from a forgotten era. The planet seemed to be waiting for them. It felt alive somehow. They landed in a vast crater where the signal was strongest. At the crater's center, a massive, ancient structure loomed. It looked alien, but there was something about it that felt oddly familiar. At its core, an orb spun, its light soft yet pulsating, sending out energy waves that synced with the countdown on their screens. Kevin's voice came out as a low whisper. What is that?" Sarah crouched beside the orb, fingers hovering over some controls. "It's a failsafe," she murmured, piecing together the puzzle aloud. "A failsafe? For what?" Kevin asked, stepping back, the air around them seeming to chill. "For the universe," Sarah replied quietly. She lifted her eyes wide with shock, as if even she couldn't believe what she was about to say. Kevin's stomach churned. What do you mean? The universe?" Sarah stood slowly, the weight of the truth almost visible on her shoulders. "It's a reset button. This thing, it's going to reset everything. Every star, every planet, every galaxy. Wipe it all out. The silence that followed hit like a punch in the gut. Kevin felt like the air had been sucked from his lungs. "You mean everything? We're going to lose everything and we can't stop it?" "We have to try," Sarah said, her voice shaky, carrying less confidence than the words needed. She immediately began working on the controls, attempting every override code, every shutdown sequence she could think of. But nothing worked. The orb resisted every effort, rejecting every command they entered. As the hours slipped away, 6 left now, the crushing realization sank in. They were powerless. Kevin slammed his fists on the console. "Why won't it stop?" Sarah's fingers stopped moving. She stood there, staring at the orb, its light reflecting in her weary eyes. "We were never meant to stop it," she whispered. The others stood frozen in place. Kevin turned to her, heart racing. "What do you mean?" Her gaze was distant. "This countdown, it's not a disaster to prevent. It's a cycle, an ending and a beginning. We're not here to stop it, Kevin. We're here to witness it." Kevin's face paled. "Witness what?" "The end." She shook her head slowly, almost as if she were trying to wrap her mind around it. "No. The start. A new universe, but not for us." The final minutes ticked away, and the silence in the ship grew heavier, almost tangible. There was nothing left to say. The clock reached 0:30. 30 seconds. This was it. They weren't going to save the universe. They weren't heroes. All they could do was watch. Kevin's hands trembled uncontrollably. He looked at Sarah, but she wouldn't meet his gaze. She was transfixed on the orb, the thing that was about to erase everything they had ever known. 00:10. The orb's light intensified, nearly blinding. The air vibrated, a strange hum filling the space, and Kevin could swear he heard faint whispers, voices. Or maybe it was just the universe itself winding down. 00:03. Kevin squeezed his eyes shut, desperate to say something, but no words came. There was nothing left to say. No goodbyes, no final words. Just the end. Orcs. The light erupted from the orb, a wave of pure energy that consumed everything. The planet, the ship, the stars. The universe folded into itself, gone in an instant, leaving nothing but silence. And then there was light again. But it wasn't their light. It wasn't their universe. The countdown had reached 0. A new beginning had arrived, but not for them.